It was my 8th year as Robert Sterling's top salesperson and secret girlfriend. I overheard him complaining to his friends after he'd had too much to drink. Just thinking about Olivia Owens drinking and sleeping with those investors makes me sick. Not to mention her family is just a declining family, while my company is about to go public. The man who had once promised to love me forever was now holding a young girl, kissing her wildly. I opened my phone camera, saved the recorded video evidence, then called my dad. Dad, terminate all investments in Sterling Corporation/family. That college student you introduced before sounds pretty good, I want to meet him. It was a rainy summer, and I didn't wait in the car as usual. Instead, I arrived at Robert Sterling's private room/VIP room early. Before I even pushed the door open, I heard his distinctly drunken voice. Olivia Owens is good in every way. Hearing this, my lips curved slightly, but the smile instantly froze at his next sentence. It's just a shame she's clueless. After going through something like that, she still thinks I'd marry her. His voice held a hint of contempt, as if discussing something incredibly ridiculous. I don't have any special preferences. I could find someone cleaner than her anywhere on the street. Laughter and agreeing voices rose around them. I abruptly clenched my fist, my nails digging deep into my palm. So, will you marry me? The woman's wheedling voice suddenly broke the silence. Peeking through the crack in the door, I saw Robert Sterling smirk and pull the woman into his arms. The man who had always been disciplined and reserved in front of me was openly kissing another woman in public. I used to think he wasn't passionate enough in our relationship. He said it was just his nature, and I believed him. Turns out, he just saved all his passion for others. His friends nearby saw the situation was awkward and discreetly distanced themselves. A dumbfounded guy curiously asked. Then what should we call them both later? We can't call both of them Sarah, right? Are you stupid? Robert never acknowledged Olivia Owens's identity. Sigh, I can't tell you the details, but anyway, Robert won't marry a woman who isn't clean. I leaned against the wall, listening to them discuss my past with Robert Sterling. Just then, my phone suddenly received an airdrop message. I clicked confirm. I saw a photo inside. The subjects were the two people passionately kissing inside, sleeping naked and close together. Immediately after, Sarah Miller proudly held up her phone and sent me a message. Olivia Owens, I really sympathize with Robert. He had to stay with you because of a debt of gratitude. But you didn't know, did you? Every time he touched you, he'd be disgusted for a week and come to me for comfort. He said every time he touched you, he could imagine how you compromised yourself with an older man for an investment back then. So dirty. So that was why Robert Sterling didn't acknowledge my identity? My blood froze. I felt cold all over. 5 years ago, the Sterling Corporation/family was on the verge of bankruptcy. Robert Sterling pleaded with everyone for help to save Sterling Corporation/family. My family had deep pockets, but our family has a code/tradition that we couldn't use the family name for personal gain. To help him, I accompanied him to business socializing/networking events and interacted a lot with investors. During that time, I drank and threw up, then drank again. A few times, I was even sent to the hospital because of stomach bleeding from drinking. I still remember lying in the hospital bed, and Robert Sterling told me with red-rimmed eyes that he would never betray me in this life. Then came a very important investment for Sterling Corporation/family. To help finalize the deal, I went straight from the hospital to drink with the investors, ending up almost fainting. Luckily, I ran into my dad's good friend, Uncle Robert. Seeing me like that, he stepped in, took me away, and got a room for me to rest properly. I went back the next day. Robert Sterling looked at me strangely. I curiously asked him what was wrong. He didn't say anything, just held me tightly and kept saying, "You've been wronged." I thought he was talking about me drinking until I threw up blood. I never expected that from that moment on. He saw me as a woman who would sell her body for money. Sarah Miller's messages continued, interrupting my memory. Oh, and one more thing. I'm pregnant with Robert's child, and we'll be getting married soon. If you're smart, you'll leave quickly. Being a mistress/the other woman isn't glorious, you know. My heart felt like it was completely pierced by a sharp blade. I almost couldn't stand. Sarah Miller saw my face and smugly raised her eyebrows, stepping back from Robert Sterling's embrace. Be gentle, what if you scare the baby in my belly? Robert Sterling hadn't said anything yet, when the dumbfounded guy seemed to finally understand the situation and quickly tried to butter them up. Congratulations, Robert and Sarah. Congratulations on your marriage and hope you start a family soon. Robert Sterling frowned slightly, not showing much emotion on his face. It's not up to you to say who Sarah is. Keep your mouth shut. If Olivia Owens finds out, I won't let you off the hook. I won't marry Olivia Owens, but she'll always be the woman I love most. You'd better show some respect." After speaking, he adjusted his clothes and checked his phone. According to routine, I should have contacted him by now. His breath hitched. A hint of panic flashed in his eyes as he quickly tapped on his phone. Soon, I received a message from him. "Liv, where are you?" I took a deep breath and replied, "It's raining today, I can't pick you up." He read the message, his brow relaxing slightly. Then he turned back, kissed Sarah Miller's face lightly, and said softly, "Be a good girl, I have to go back." Sarah Miller grabbed his hand, not letting him leave. He pulled away without hesitation, feigning deep affection. "I should go back and be with her. She doesn't like rainy days." I watched this scene with cold eyes, then turned and left. Then I called my dad. "Dad, terminate all investments in Sterling Corporation/family. Come pick me up in a few days." When Robert Sterling returned home, he was back to the man I knew. He held a bouquet of flowers and leaned in affectionately. "I'm sorry, Liv, I'm late coming back." Aside from the heavy men's cologne on him, I saw no other flaw in his act. I instinctively stepped back. His face stiffened. As if suddenly remembering something, he quickly explained. "I drank too much today, I didn't want to stink you up. Are you hungry? I'll make you something to eat." With that, he rolled up his sleeves and hurried into the kitchen. The young master who never lifted a finger before, now the head of the company/CEO. Because I had stomach problems, he learned to cook. When he was home, he never let anyone else do it. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, anyone would believe he loved me dearly. It was difficult for him to keep up the act for so many years. During dinner, I said calmly, "Come with me for a medical checkup tomorrow." His face showed a hint of panic, and he asked with concern, "What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell?" The same considerate care as always. I shook my head. "Nothing, it's just time for a physical exam." He sighed in relief and smiled, agreeing. But a moment later, Robert Sterling seemed to suddenly remember something. He frowned, looking troubled. "Liv, I just remembered I have to accompany an important client tomorrow, I can't cancel." I lowered my head and continued eating. The air instantly became heavy. He looked at me and tentatively asked, "Are you mad? Then I'll reschedule." "Nothing is more important than your health." I looked up at him. His gaze was open, without a hint of guilt. "It's okay, it doesn't have to be tomorrow." I smiled. After a day of intense emotional ups and downs, my nerves were numb. My phone screen beside me lit up with a message Sarah Miller had sent not long ago. "Robert's taking me to my prenatal appointment tomorrow, he's really looking forward to this baby." Oh, right, don't bother Robert these days. I'm pregnant, and if he gets upset, I can't help him. After dinner, Robert Sterling put his arm around me. "Liv, you're so quiet today, I'm not used to it." The moment his body heat pressed against my back, a strong surge rose in my throat. I couldn't suppress the feeling of nausea any longer. I violently pulled away from his embrace and rushed into the bathroom. Robert Sterling followed anxiously, reaching out to rub my back. I recoiled and slapped his hand away. "Don't touch me." Robert Sterling froze in place, his eyes hurt. I still couldn't help but ask what was on my mind. "That night 5 years ago, if I said nothing happened, would you believe me?" Robert Sterling was taken aback, then curled his lips and feigned ignorance. "What night 5 years ago?" I sneered internally, turned my head away, and didn't bother with him anymore. The next day, I arranged for myself to be hospitalized for a full-body medical checkup. Robert Sterling was too dirty. I didn't want any lingering problems in my body. Unexpectedly, I ran into Robert Sterling and Sarah Miller head-on. Robert Sterling was holding Sarah Miller tightly in his arms, gently comforting her. "It's okay, the doctor said it's nothing serious. Just don't get too worked up and watch your emotions." As he was speaking, Robert Sterling seemed to sense something. He suddenly turned his head and our eyes met. The moment he saw me, his face turned ashen white. He immediately let go of Sarah Miller and quickly walked towards me. "Liv, don't misunderstand. She's my client's wife. The client had something urgent come up, so he asked me to bring her to the hospital." He was explaining so frantically that his excuse was full of holes. I didn't want to expose him, I just said calmly, "You've always been helpful, I know that." Sarah Miller stood by, watching us act with interest, then suddenly cried out, "Ah, my stomach hurts so much." Robert Sterling looked at me with a look close to pleading, as if I were the villain breaking up the couple. I felt utterly ridiculous inside and said coldly, "What are you waiting for? Don't delay the baby." He gave me a deep look, and for once, didn't continue the act. He helped Sarah Miller leave. In the afternoon, Sarah Miller came to my hospital room, her tone smug. Robert had someone check, and the baby I'm carrying is a boy. She paused, then spoke maliciously. How could you have accepted an older man like that back then? You really could stomach it. No wonder Robert had such a strong reaction every time he touched you. I glanced at her. It sounds like Ms. Miller knows a lot about older men. A flicker of panic crossed her eyes. Before I could probe further, Sarah Miller hid her emotions. If I were you, I would have left out of shame long ago. Why would I rely on that small debt of gratitude and insist on keeping a man I couldn't keep anyway? I laughed mockingly. If you were really that confident, why keep coming back to provoke me? It's just that you're not sure how Robert Sterling will choose. Sarah Miller seemed to have been exposed. She immediately became angry and embarrassed, raising her hand to slap me. I instinctively dodged. She lost her balance from the force and stumbled a few steps. Familiar footsteps sounded outside the door. Sarah Miller immediately cried out and fell to the floor. Liv, I just came to say hello because I know Robert. I didn't mean anything else. How could you do this to me? Just then, the hospital room door opened. Robert Sterling lost his composure in front of me for the first time. He demanded angrily, "What are you doing? Sarah has a child in her belly." He quickly helped Sarah Miller up, "Aren't usly checking on her. If I say it wasn't me, will you believe me?" Robert Sterling sneered. "Are you saying she's using her baby to falsely accuse you? Olivia Owens, you've disappointed me too much." I scoffed and raised my hand, giving him a slap. "That's what I should be saying. Robert Sterling, you've disappointed me too much." After finishing the medical tests, I returned to the hospital room. The nurse's aide brought me a meal, and I was about to eat. Mrs. Sterling burst into the hospital room, cursing, and rushed at me, trying to slap me. "Olivia Owens, how dare you bully my son and grandson?" I sidestepped, instantly realizing she couldn't beat me physically and had gone to complain to his parents. Seeing me dodge, Mrs. Sterling became even more agitated, spitting as she spoke. "My son has been more than kind to you. An unclean thing like you, my son has pampered and doted on you for so many years. How can you do this to him now? You don't think a woman like you could ever enter our family, do you? Let me make it clear today, Sarah is the only daughter-in-law I recognize." His mother had always looked down on me. I didn't know why before, I just thought I wasn't doing well enough. Plus, Robert Sterling was so good to me, I didn't want to put him in a difficult position between us. I tried my best to please her. Whether it was precious and rare jewels/treasures or the latest luxury goods not yet on the market, I found them all for her. Later, she finally gave me a little bit of a pleasant look. Seeing her now fiercely defending Sarah Miller, I finally understood. Robert Sterling's parents' opinion completely depended on Robert Sterling. He didn't truly respect or love me, so naturally his parents made things difficult for me in every way. Thinking about all the things I had given away in the past, I realized they were utterly wasted. Thinking about this, I was even more annoyed. Well, that's perfect. You really are suited to be a family. One living OFF a woman, the other a mistress/the other woman who climbed her way up. Truly a match made in heaven. Mr. Sterling, who hadn't spoken, snorted. "Name your price. Don't get greedy." I looked up at him. "Oh really? How about the entire Sterling Corporation/family? I don't mind if it's small." "You wish." Mr. Sterling instantly flew into a rage. At this moment, Mrs. Sterling also jumped out, cursing like a shrew. "Back when my Sterling Corporation/family was down and out, you promiscuous woman, to climb the social ladder, you willingly climbed into an older man's bed. My son was blind to stay with you all these years. Now you actually want my entire Sterling Corporation/family? Dream on." As soon as she finished speaking, I glanced over and saw Robert Sterling, his face pale, holding Sarah Miller at the doorway. I raised an eyebrow. "Aren't you going to explain? Who was it that drank until they had stomach bleeding to help you get investment back then, giving Sterling Corporation/family a chance at survival, only for it to be twisted into me climbing for status?" Robert Sterling's face was completely drained of color, his eyes darting away. He instinctively tried to defend himself. "No, that's not true. I never said that, it's just that they misunderstood, really." I scoffed. He had countless opportunities to explain for me, but he never did. Ultimately, it was just because he was afraid of people saying he relied on a woman to succeed. Mrs. Sterling couldn't stand to see Robert Sterling humbling himself to a woman. She tugged his sleeve. "What are you still hesitating for? Ever since Sarah has been with you, our family has been thriving. We not only got the investment, the company didn't go under, and it's about to go public. Now Sarah is even pregnant with our precious grandson. don't be foolish. Robert Sterling closed his eyes, as if finally making up his mind. Liv, I truly love you, that's why I worked so hard for 5 years. But I've tried, and every time I touch you, I can only find comfort with Sarah. Let's part ways amicably. I fiercely slapped Robert Sterling. Robert Sterling was expressionless, but his eyes were red-rimmed. His parents saw this and rushed forward, but he raised his hand to stop them. If this is what she wants, I accept it. It's what I owe her. I sneered, you owe me a lot more than that. After saying that, I kicked them all out. As they left, they were still cursing. Using my son's money to stay in such a nice hospital room, how shameless. Not long after they left, a video about me suddenly went viral online. In the video, a woman with a back figure very similar to mine was leaning close to an ugly and overweight older man. Someone recognized me as Robert Sterling's rumored girlfriend, and people started asking him for his thoughts. Robert Sterling responded immediately. Olivia Owens and I have never been in a romantic relationship. I also regret only now seeing her true nature. As a former friend, I hope everyone won't be too harsh on her. Also, let me introduce my fiancée, Sarah Miller, who is also the mother of my child, a woman I cherish dearly in my life. Robert Sterling was well-dressed and spoke with such pompous righteousness that he was quickly hailed by online users as the best man of the year. Meanwhile, I became this shameless woman in their mouths. The comment section was filled with attacks on me. Seeing this, Mrs. Sterling, who usually acted like a distinguished lady in public, also personally joined in. Looks can be deceiving. My son is kind-hearted and was very tolerant of her when they were friends, but I hope everyone won't take the unnecessary misunderstandings seriously and understand my feelings as a mother. In her words, she subtly implied that the public's understanding of my relationship with Robert Sterling was entirely due to my relentless pursuit of him, and she made no secret of her dislike for me. I was enjoying reading the comment section when my assistant handed me a file. Miss, I've collected the evidence of them spreading rumors about you. We're ready to file a lawsuit anytime. Wait a bit longer. The boarding announcement sounded. I was about to put my phone down. Sarah Miller's message suddenly popped up. Olivia Owens, now that the video is out, it'll be hard for you to get married in the future, right? If you really can't, maybe I can ask my husband to introduce someone to you? I replied, keep the man I don't want. As for the video, do you really think nobody can tell who it is? After sending it, I immediately blocked and deleted her contact information. As I was about to board, my assistant reported, Miss, the withdrawal of our funds is 100% complete. Sterling Corporation/family's cash flow problems/financial collapse is imminent. I nodded. The people my dad arranged were reliable. I didn't have to worry at all. The plane flew high in the sky. Looking down at the land that was once so familiar, it became smaller and smaller. The last trace of the man who used to scheme tirelessly just to get me to bring him water after a basketball game in college, and then racked his brains to coax me back when I was angry, completely vanished from my heart. A hint of melancholy crossed my heart first, then vanished without a trace. As soon as the plane landed and I turned on my phone, I saw over a dozen missed calls from Robert Sterling. A call happened to come in, and I accidentally answered. Robert Sterling's panicked voice came through. Liv, where are you going? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drive you away. I had to give Sarah Miller an explanation to the media and my parents. Although I plan to marry Sarah Miller, I do care about you. You're a woman without a skill. Have you said enough? I interrupted him coldly. He paused. There was a moment of silence on the other end, as if he wasn't used to my attitude. Liv, don't be like this. Besides me, I didn't want to listen anymore. I hung up, blocked and deleted him, and then instructed my assistant to send out all the evidence and file the lawsuit where necessary. Walking out of the arrival gate, my dad came forward and hugged me with red-rimmed eyes. Oh, my dear daughter is finally back. You're thin. You must have suffered a lot out there. My heart ached, and my nose stung. Tears nearly welled up. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the man standing beside my dad. I quickly held back my tears. Who is this? The man was handsome and tall, with outstanding looks, but I had never seen him before. My dad puffed out his chest, looking quite proud. I have good taste, don't I? You said you wanted to date a college student/young man, so I immediately found one for you. My dad's voice wasn't quiet. As soon as he said that, subtle glances from all around turned towards us. I quickly pulled up my mask. The buzz hadn't died down, and now people had found out I was dating a college student/young man. I probably couldn't shake off this label. I awkwardly winked at my dad. speaking so loudly. Was he afraid people wouldn't know his daughter was robbing the cradle? Then I greeted the man. Hi, college student slash young man. What should I call you? The man laughed heartily and said, if you're looking for robbing the cradle, I might disappoint you. His words cleverly diffused my awkwardness. Soon I learned that this man was David Thompson, rumored to be the unattainable figure in our circles, someone famous since childhood but whom I had never met. He had returned early from studying abroad and successfully taken over his family business, occasionally even lecturing at universities. That's how my dad just happened to catch him at the school, leading to our first meeting. David Thompson was very talkative, and spending time with him was very comfortable. We became good friends not long after meeting. My dad would occasionally inquire about our progress, which I found strange. Even when I was thousands of miles away with Robert Sterling, he hadn't worried this much. I asked and found out he was afraid I would make a foolish mistake. After blocked and deleted Robert Sterling's contact information, I stopped paying attention to him and naturally didn't know he was looking for me like crazy. Half a month ago, my assistant posted all the evidence online, proving that the video's content had been created using AI face swapping synthesis. Sarah Miller had hired someone to create the video, but I never expected that the original subject of the video would be Sarah Miller. I remembered Robert Sterling once saying, Sarah Miller is a clean girl, she's different from you, that's why I have to be responsible for her. It was truly ridiculous. Sarah Miller came from an ordinary background. In college, she was introduced to doing part-time work and went down the wrong path. After tasting the ease of making quick money, she became deeply entrenched and couldn't extricate herself. Later, at a banquet, she met Robert Sterling and immediately set her sights on this potential stock. To get Robert Sterling, she even had surgery to adjust her appearance and pretend to be naive. At that time, Robert Sterling, mistakenly believing I had slept with an older man overnight, spent his days drinking in bars, unwilling to come home and face me. The two of them got involved like that and kept their relationship a secret from me. I didn't publicly expose Sarah Miller's face in the original video. Even though her methods were disgusting, I didn't want to do the same thing she did. When Mrs. Sterling saw the evidence, she still wasn't giving up. She commented publicly online, "This only proves it wasn't you that time, it doesn't mean you're innocent." My dad couldn't stand it anymore. He announced he was going to teach her a lesson. He immediately had the Owens Corporation/family official account to speak out for me, introducing our Owens Corporation/family heiress/family daughter, the future head of the company/CEO of Owens Corporation/fam. Eiley. As soon as the news broke, online users exploded. They flooded the comment section with messages like welcome, heiress/family daughter. The public opinion instantly reversed. People mocked, year's biggest joke, a top-tier heiress climbing for status, even blind enough to find an older man. I specifically registered an account to comment, my daughter doesn't need to rely on anyone. Even without our Owens family, she would have grown up to be outstanding. The only setback in the Owens family heiress's life was that she dated the wrong person/had a bad relationship. This topic quickly attracted everyone's attention. The incident where I drank until I was hospitalized for Robert Sterling's company was dug up. So that's what they meant by no romantic relationship? 8 years together, what a complete and utter jerk, there's no cleaning his name. Utter scumbag. I can't imagine how hard it must have been for her if she really sacrificed her innocence for an investment for her boyfriend and was then despised. Even if the heiress didn't sacrifice her innocence, her desperate efforts for them before were real. But this family? Living off the resources the heiress gained, they cheat on her as soon as they become successful, and then the whole family conspires to turn the tables on her. They're simply devils. Advice: his so-called fiancé should definitely not think twice, get rid of the baby quickly and run. You don't think that girl is clean, do you? She's just a mistress/the other woman who climbed her way up. Following that, someone dug up the processed original video and even tracked down the person who first spread the news, Sarah Miller. Karma/what goes around comes around. How did Mrs. Sterling have the nerve to question the heiress's innocence? Now look, she caused her son to be cuckolded with her own hands. What should have been a chance to marry into wealth was ruined by them. They deserve it. I heard that because of this incident, Mrs. Street Erling was so angry she ended up in the hospital. She even physically attacked Sarah Miller in the hospital, which in turn provided more entertainment for the online users. Sarah Miller found Robert Sterling to complain, saying I was falsely accusing and spreading rumors. Robert Sterling's eyes were red-rimmed. He pushed her to the ground and kicked and punched her. "This is all your fault. How dare you accuse her? If it weren't for you, Liv wouldn't have left me." You disgusting woman, looking at you makes me sick. Sarah Miller was stunned by the beating and hadn't reacted yet. Robert Sterling wasn't satisfied and, with a cold face, slapped her several more times. Sarah Miller lowered her head, covering her face, and then chuckled. Robert Sterling, do you regret it? You brought this on yourself. You think I could have tied you to the bed? Given Olivia Owens's status, she's not coming back. Just forget about it. Robert Sterling lost all reason after hearing that. Like a rampaging beast, he lunged at Sarah Miller. Sarah Miller didn't back down either. The commotion between them grew louder and louder. Finally, people passing by, afraid someone would be killed, called the police and had them taken to the station. It took some trouble to get them released. Meanwhile, Sterling Corporation/family's cash flow problems/financial collapse led to the forced halt of many key projects. Robert Sterling frantically searched for new investors, but with such a mess, and no one willing to offend Owens Corporation/family, nobody would invest. Robert Sterling completely broke down. My phone was unreachable, I was nowhere to be found, and he started leaving crazy messages on the Owens Corporation/family official account. Liv, where are you? I miss you so much, please come back. Naturally, that wasn't going to happen. The online users were even more agitated than I was. First claiming no romantic relationship, then I miss you so much. You should dismantle your previous act before starting a new one. I didn't pay it any mind. His company was in chaos now. I believed he wouldn't have time to keep up the charade for long. However, one day after work, as I walked to the parking lot, a figure suddenly rushed out and grabbed me tightly. Looking closely, it was Robert Sterling. He was extremely strong and gave me no chance to break free. He kept shouting in my ear, Liv, I've been looking for you for so long, I miss you so much. I struggled fiercely and slammed my elbow back hard. Robert Sterling cried out in pain, his grip loosened, and I took the chance to break free from his hold. Liv, listen to me. Seeing I was about to leave, Robert Sterling became anxious and hurried, stepping in front of me to block my path. Do you still think I'm easy to fool? I looked at him coldly. Robert Sterling's eyes were red-rimmed. He defended himself desperately. Liv, I didn't know it was a misunderstanding. At first, I was really in pain, I couldn't face it, that's why I made a mistake. But my feelings for Sarah Miller and you were never the same. For her, I only had a sense of obligation, for you, it was years of love. After I found out what she did to you, I severely punished her. Liv, give me a chance. Can we start over? His hands trembled, and he looked at me cautiously, as if my single word could decide his fate. I didn't understand. He cared so much about Sterling Corporation/family, and now it was a matter of life and death for the company. Instead of going back to the company, he was pulling this stunt here. Was he hoping I would soften and offer help? Robert Sterling, you've miscalculated. I have no feelings for you now. Instead of pinning faint hope on me, you should think of other ways. Why not taking direct action is already the greatest mercy. Robert Sterling's expression gradually turned to disbelief. Liv, in your heart, am I someone who only cares about profit? I looked at him, finding it strangely amusing. In your heart, haven't I always been a kind of person? Thinking about our 8 years together, it's truly pathetic. His expression stiffened. As if remembering this, he quickly explained. No, that's not it. Even back then, I just thought you were too foolish. You sacrificed so much for me, I was afraid I couldn't bear the weight of your kindness. As he spoke, tears streamed down his face. That's why I drowned my sorrows in alcohol later, unable to face you. A man who has to rely on his woman. I despised myself. But I never looked down on you. I curled my lips, repeating his words clearly, one by one. Olivia Owens is good in every way. It's just a shame she's clueless. After going through something like that, she still thinks I'd marry her. I could find someone cleaner than her anywhere on the street. Robert Sterling's face visibly turned paler. He opened his mouth. After a long pause, he finally managed to say, you heard it back then. He clutched his chest and slid down to the ground little by little, as if I were the executioner who had just deeply wounded him. Robert Sterling, you don't deserve to mention the past 8 years. He paused, then sighed lightly and said softly, we ended long ago. After saying that, I drove away. As the car was about to leave the parking lot, I heard the man's desperate roar from behind. For a while after that, I didn't see Robert Sterling. Just when I thought he had given up, his parents appeared in front of me, crying and shouting. Liv, Auntie was ignorant before, it's all Auntie's fault. But can you be merciful, please, and kindly save our Aching? He can't live without you. Mrs. Sterling was crying, snot and tears running down her face, completely lacking the arrogant demeanor she had shown me before. I pulled my hand away, feeling uncomfortable. Auntie, if there's something wrong, please find the police or a doctor. It's no use finding me, I can't help you. Hearing my words, Mrs. Sterling wailed even louder. She knelt on the ground, plead ing with me to give her son a chance to live. It's Auntie's poor judgment, and I didn't raise my son well, causing you to be wronged. But he's my only son. You've had so many years of history, please help him. I had security escort them out. How could someone as selfish as Robert Sterling not understand weighing the pros and cons and do something so irrational? I didn't care, nor did I believe it. I saw Robert Sterling again at my engagement party. In the past 6 months, David Thompson and I had gotten along well, and both our families were happy. The engagement details were quickly discussed and finalized. I was in the dressing room/bridal suite preparing for the final entrance when Robert Sterling, hunched over, darted out from somewhere and grabbed my hand. Liv, let's go, nobody can force you. You're mine forever, we agreed a long time ago, to be together for life. I know you don't want to get married. I'll take you away. I instinctively wanted to pull away, but then I noticed Robert Sterling's state was a bit off. His eyes were hazy, his pupils unfocused, and he was swaying, looking crazed. David Thompson pushed open the dressing room/bridal suite door and immediately noticed something was wrong. Honey. Robert Sterling looked at him alertly. Go away, you have the wrong person, she's not your wife. I secretly signaled to David Thompson and shook my head. Then I followed Robert Sterling out the hotel's back door. As we were about to reach an open area, I slowly broke free from Robert Sterling's grasp, preparing to escape his confinement. Sarah Miller suddenly rushed out, holding a scissors in her hand, and lunged straight at me. It's all your fault. If it wasn't for you, you wretched woman, Robert and I and our child would have been the happiest family of 3 in the world. Sarah Miller's child had ultimately died of suffocation in her womb. The 7-month-old baby died in the womb because Robert Sterling had confined her and she couldn't get to T. He hospital in time. Sarah Miller lunged very quickly, and I was still restricted by Robert Sterling's hold. Just as I thought I couldn't dodge, Robert Sterling quickly stepped in front of me. The scissors immediately plunged into his chest. Blood spurted out. Sarah Miller looked at the scene, her hands trembling. She threw the scissors. No, why did you rush forward? She's the one who killed our daughter, why are you protecting her? Staff members quickly rushed up and held her down. She screamed desperately, and for a moment, it was hard to tell if she was more desperate or sad. I looked at Robert Sterling, who was now lying on the ground. My legs gave way, and I knelt down. I used my hand to help cover his bleeding wound. Hold on, the doctor will be here soon. Robert Sterling seemed to regain consciousness. His hand trembled as he raised it, tracing my face in the air, as if painting it. I'm sorry. Liv, I hurt you again. You look so beautiful in your wedding dress. In another life, could you? Before he could finish his sentence, his hand suddenly fell. I stumbled along with him. David Thompson quickly supported me from behind, his voice steady and strong, dispelling my panic. Get him to the hospital quickly. Robert Sterling ultimately didn't survive because his wound was too severe. Robert Sterling's parents fainted upon hearing the news. I helped with the funeral arrangements/aftermath and Sarah Miller's lawsuit. Ultimately, Sarah Miller was sentenced to 10 years in prison for intentional homicide/murder. Robert Sterling's parents couldn't accept the reality. They sold their house and completely left the sorrowful place. Before leaving, they left a box for me. You've worked hard during this time. This is a wedding gift Robert prepared for you since he knew you were getting married. It's no use to us. You, handle it yourself. I took the gift box and watched them leave. Their faint whispers drifted through the air in the distance. If only we hadn't been so excessive back then. Unfortunately, there were no if-onlys. David Thompson and I's engagement party was cancelled. My dad felt the previous event was truly perilous and was still shaken. He simply chose another suitable day/lucky day and prepared for our wedding, even adding 5 times the staff, just hoping for foolproof safety. David Thompson and I couldn't argue, so we reluctantly agreed to both sets of parents' arrangements. Fortunately, this time, nothing went wrong, and we got married successfully. Married life was peaceful and warm. In just 1 year, we had our daughter. Looking at the similar faces of the big and small pair of father and daughter, a warm current surged in my heart. This was probably the embodiment of happiness. As for the past troubles, they gradually faded into the depths of time, becoming memories that were no longer mentioned.